Welcome to Disturbingly Cheap Reviews. This time we look both ways before crossing the street, lest we deal with the sentient killer vehicle roaming in, the car. Road to Revenge. In it, we find ourselves in a future dystopia where crime is overrunning the streets. Or we find ourselves in modern-day Chicago, according to conservatives. The DA is cracking down on a criminal enterprise ran by a villain named the Knight, who has multiple wacky-dressed cohorts that he calls his children. They each have their own defining characteristic to make them immediately recognizable and possess enhancements the Knight has apparently given them. But back on track, the DA is also attempting to re-woo the woman he was emotionally and potentially physically abusive to, and thankfully failing. After the local hero cop catches a bad guy, the DA gets a special chip that earns him a run-in with the Knight's children. The DA finds himself on the wrong side of dead, but thankfully flung through a window onto his fancy car, where his soul essentially soaks in and starts driving towards vehicular revenge. Well, this movie is nonsense. Pure, unadulterated, unapologetic nonsense. The car antics are obviously the reason to tune in, and they mix a good bit of chases with absurdities to more than make up for what you might expect. Some human interactions are not as fun, but the film wants to keep its crazy on a good clip while shoveling in some please care for this person backstory along the way. I give it a B. You know if you want this film. And if you're on the fence, I'd say give it a go because it might surprise you. It holds nothing back and gives every bit of effort towards what it's going for. And I think it succeeds. The crazy has no problem going full throttle. And I feel no shame for that pun. And with that, let's ease up to a red light that we call spoilers. So we've essentially got a partial Crow story, with the car avenging against those who murdered the DA, but also showing up to his former love's whereabouts, blasting their song over the radio. However, the DA was not a good guy, so when he sees his former love getting soft on the hero cop, the car begins trying to run him down as well. In the end, the Knight splits in a fun bad guy ending. The potential lovebirds set a trap and blow the car to smithereens. Until they don't. It comes out of the smoke, manages to kidnap her, and in the ultimate act of if I can't have her, no one can, heads for the biggest cliff available to Thelma and Louise off of. She gets her moment of revenge by ripping out the car's CPU and KOing it just enough for it to stop right before the cliff edge. So she finishes pushing it over so she can claim victory over her past abuses. Then the car's lights come on because sequels are always possible. I mean, this one only took 42 years, apparently. So until next time, maybe aim for the bushes. And yes, I did do this because of, the time difference between the movies and the time difference between my reviews. That's how witty I think I am.